I guess I'm on sort of a Sofubi kick because today's review is on the Marmit Godzilla from the 2004 film Godzilla Final Wars. Directed by Ryuhei Kitamura, this one is pretty split between the fans. You either love it or you hate it. It's not one that I rank very high on my list due to the Matrix-style antics and the techno soundtrack, but admittedly I do have a strong childhood bias towards this movie. I rented it as a kid and it was one of the first in the series that I got into. Man, who else misses the days of video stores? I sure do. I will give credit where it's due and say this is a very ambitious film that redesigned a lot of different kaiju and tried to send the big G off with a bang. However, it was a sloppy mess that got stuck in the age of early 2000s cliches. Remember, this is just my opinion, which is always correct, and you can't oppose it whatsoever. Because you're wrong. This is another great example of a Marmit figure that isn't insanely colorful and actually stays mostly true to the suit rather than being completely stylized. It's loaded with all kinds of details that look fantastic, like check out some of the textures on these scales, they're great. His paint job is also very nice, touting blues that fade from dark to light. I really like the way Marmit sculpted his head. It looks really good. His eyes have a gold shine and contrasts well with the darker colors they use in the rest of the figure. The inside of his mouth features a darker red color that looks a bit more realistic than some of the more bright reds they use on these figures, and I think it turned out great. The front of his chest is slightly highlighted and features some more of that great detailing I had mentioned earlier. All across the front of the figure are bumps and grooves that flow from the circles you see now to the tree bark-like scales on his shoulders and arms. His fingernails come to a nice point and are painted an icy bluish white along with his toes. Speaking of, his feet are also sculpted nicely along with those now iconic muscular legs. This Godzilla definitely didn't skip leg day. Godzilla's spines are also painted that lighter blue and it looks really good. His 3 rows of spines flow from the top of his head, down his back, and end at the tip of his itty-bitty tail. His articulation is about as basic as it gets here, guys. Both of his arms swivel from left to right, and you can move his legs forward and back like so. His tail sort of spins, and this head sculpt is actually a part of the body, so it doesn't do anything. Less seems to look at. This mold stands around 8 inches tall, making him slightly smaller than your average Sofubi figure, but this comes at an advantage as he isn't difficult to display at all. Here he is next to the Memorial Box Godzilla 1975, the YMSF Megalon, and lastly, the Bandai Standard Hedorah. This figure is a great representation of the Godzilla we see from the film, and if you can somehow track down this variant or any of the other more obscure rare ones, then I highly suggest you get it, especially if you're a fan of the movie. It's a decent size with a really great amount of detail and a subtle but very nice paint job. That's the end of the review. Thank you everyone for watching today's video. I appreciate you so much. If you prefer to use social media, you can click the link in the description below to follow my Instagram page, and please don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel for more videos just like it. We are less than 40 away from 1,000 subscribers, everybody. Let's hit it. Alright, I think that about does it. I'll see you guys next time.